Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today. We do have a market that is selling off here, about 0.4%, but some of the stocks under the cover. Let's take a look at that. Paul Sweeney alongside Jess Menton. We turn to Bloomberg's Lisa Mateo. Lisa, now let's talk about some stock movers.
Let's do this. Okay. So I got to start with Walmart, guys, right? Ticker WMT. So there was this good news, right? It raises full year sales guidance, which is a good sign. Consumers' spending power is holding up, right? Lifted its adjusted earnings guidance for the year. The CFO said, you know what? The consumer is resilient. Walmart continues to gain market share across all income levels, especially wealthier shoppers. Delivery, e-commerce, they're fueling growth, right? Helping the company increase market share. But here's the thing. There was a miss on profit. That was because of a rise of insurance claims. There were legal challenges, restructuring costs. Investors really didn't like the sound of that. Its shares have taken a hit down as much as 3% before the bell. Now, when it comes to tariffs, because everyone wants to know how are tariffs affecting these companies, they said they can leverage their global supply chain to source more efficiently and negotiate better deals with suppliers. So far, the impact to the consumer is small, but that can change later on in the year, as it continues to go on.
And I know we saw that stock down a little bit in pre-market trading, but it was up about 72% last year coming into this year, up about 14% this year. So sometimes I wonder kind of the fundamentals versus it was trading like a growth stock coming into this year and how much of that had to come back to a little bit of reality.
Still trading 40 times earnings, which is just amazing. What else you got?
Okay, so this is perfume cosmetic seller Coty, COTY ticker, down more than 20%. So they basically said steep sales declines are going to continue. Retailers are clearing out existing inventory. Consumer demand, they said, continues to be low. They've been nearing the end of this 5-year turnaround plan, right? But they've been trying to spark some growth. But there's also been reports that they're considering selling off their high-end brands to Pure Interparfums. Other reports say the lower end brands like CoverGirl, fragrances for Adidas, Nautica, they could also be sold in a separate transaction. Tariffs weighing on profitability for them, shifting fragrance production to the U.S. That's going to be a cost. So they've been trying new things, like they introduced new products, smaller sizes. There's also evidence that demand for their high end fragrances, like I don't know if you have Gucci or Burberry, like those are doing well for them. And so those are rebounding.
So are there Coty stores?
No, there's not Coty stores.
These are folks who manufacture.
They make it, and they sell it, at different stores throughout. But so the Gucci and Burberry brands are doing a little bit better. So maybe luxury is helping them, but
so those perfume sales, that's where the issue is.
Yes, exactly.
But Sephora, doesn't Sephora do great? Or does that make
they do have fragrances, and they're good at especially giving out kind of free samples or little points, and that's how they get you. At least that's how they end up getting me.
Yes.
Just more money
free
there.
birthday gift.
That's right. That's it. They hook you there. And then you just keep it, and then you'll spend more money.
Let's go into Boeing. Okay, so this is ticker BA. Their shares have been gaining as much as 3%. It's kind of trailed back a little bit. Sources are saying the company's heading closer to finalizing a deal with China to sell as many as 500 aircraft. And this is big because it would end that sales drought that kind of stretches back to President Donald Trump's last visit in 2017. Wow. So the two sides still reportedly hammering out some terms like the type, the volume of jet models, the delivery timetables, like all that's still being worked out reportedly. But it could still fall apart. But sources saying Chinese officials, they've already started consulting domestic airlines about how many Boeing aircraft they'll need. So you see it kind of ramping up there. But the stock has risen, 27% this year. It's really been this turnaround under Kelly Ortberg. So,
but this is all predicated upon getting a U.S.-China trade deal, right?
Correct. Okay. If it goes.
Yeah, and it was down over 30% last year for obvious issues that it had that it was tied to.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.